Hey guys, what you just saw was me prepping one of our newest garden beds, raised beds that has been added. I just added it at the end of summer. It is one of the 6 that are in our front area. These are the 2 newest ones. These are the second newest, and these were my first initial 2. So as you can see, I've still got some fall crops that I need to pull out and harvest, but we're gonna let some of these carrots keep going. It finally is getting frosty at night, so it is time to plant our shallots, walking onions, and garlic. So today that is what I'm going to do. So to prep this bed, I had been basically stacking compost and used soil and additional things that I was able to just gather from around the yard. I'd been stacking it over time. It has been breaking down since I installed these back in, I think, August. And then I added topsoil just to the top couple inches of the bed. And then I added some of the Espoma garden tone. That is just to give it some extra nutrients. We are going to be planting 2 different varieties of garlic today. It is going to be Russian Giant and Georgia Crystal. Last year I grew the Chesnok Red and Georgia Crystal. I was blown away by the Georgia Crystal, so I'm ready to repeat that one. And I really want to try growing the Russian Giant this year. So we are going to add that to our garlic bed. In addition, I'm also going to be growing some shallots, which I grew last year in the bed just to the left of this one. And then I'm also going to add a few walking onions that my neighbor kindly gave to me that she had extra after planting hers. So this bed we are going to just fill to the brim with garlic and shallots. I like to plant each of them about 6 inches apart from each other. We'll do 3 or 4 rows depending on what we have room for. And I will walk you through how I plant each of them as we go. So let's get started. I jointly labeled shallots and onions because it'll be pretty obvious once they come up in the spring which ones are which. And then I have these lovely labels made by my future sister-in-law for Georgia Crystal and Russian Giant, so we'll be adding those. First, we'll do our Russian Giant right up here in the front, followed by our Georgia Crystal and our shallots and the onions in the back. Now, garlic is super easy to plant. That is what I've got. The rest is shallots and onions. My favorite thing about this crop is that it is mostly a set it and forget it. So you just put it in the ground in the fall, and in the spring it pops up. All summer it grows, and in the fall you harvest it. It is so easy. First thing you're going to want to do is break open your garlic. Try to save as much as the protective skin as you can with each clove. Separate out each clove individually. That was 7 just for that one. These are all hard neck varieties. I have actually not grown soft neck varieties of garlic yet. I'm thinking about giving it a try next year, but we'll just see. It seems like most of the people in my area grow hard neck varieties and they are really easy to grow, so I really enjoyed that. You can tell these are hardneck garlic varieties because they have literally a hardneck right in the center where all the cloves grow around. Hardneck varieties also allow for scapes to be harvested. I really enjoy eating scapes, making things out of them. Okay, so in general, the rule of thumb is to select your biggest cloves, and those are going to make the biggest garlic bulbs the following season. As you can see, this Russian Giant is pretty gigantic. We're going to plant them all 4 to 6 inches apart and about 3 inches deep. You want to plant this part of the garlic down in the soil and the pointy part up. The way I did it last year, which worked really great, was I took my spade here, dug it in, plopped my garlic clove all the way down, and covered it right up. Repeat that all the way across. Looks like I got 4 in a row here, so I'll go 4 to 6 inches over and continue with 4 in a row. Switching over to the Georgia Crystal. We're gonna plant it in the exact same way as our Russian Giant. 4 to 6 inches, 3 inches deep, pointy side up. Pat it all down. Make sure your garlic heads are fully covered. Now we can move on to planting our shallots and onions. These are our shallots. This is my little selection of teeny tiny walking onions. I'm going to do shallots first and then walking onions at the very end. Same thing with shallots. You want to have the bottom side down, pointy side up. With this one, however, instead of putting it 3 inches deep into the soil, you are going to just basically push it in so that just the very tippy top of your shallot clove is touching the surface. I found this to be pretty important because of the way that shallots in general grow. They grow very differently from garlic, although they are planted in a very similar fashion. They just have a very different structure of how they grow. Garlic grows like, you know, very deep down into the soil. And the shallots seem to grow very shallow. Yuka, hey, come here. These shallots seem to grow on top of the soil in a very shallow way, and they kind of like plop themselves in a little cluster on top of the soil, and they sit there. So they're very visible compared to garlic. Okay, planted very shallow, barely covered. Most of the tops are still sticking out. Lastly, we're gonna do our walking onions, and I'm gonna plant these in the exact same fashion that I did the shallots. You can see that some of these have started to grow already. They've got little green stems. That is what we're gonna point upward. These are teeny tiny. They have kind of an interesting growth habit. I'm gonna plant them relatively shallow, less than 1/4 to 1/2 an inch, with the green pointy side facing up. Their growth habit is interesting, which is how they get their name walking onions, is because they grow up, put out a little bulb, and then it falls down into the soil and roots, and that is why they're called walking onions, because they kind of just like plant themselves in a walking fashion, which I think is kind of cool. I have not grown these myself yet. I've just seen them. My neighbor Smokey, she grows them, and she was kind enough to gift me that batch. Okay, our bed is fully planted. 2 varieties of garlic, a batch of shallots, and walking onions right at the end. This whole bed, we just let it sit now until spring. We have nothing else to do in here. I'm very excited that we got that done, and I'm even more excited to harvest it in, you know, fall of next year. My garlic harvest this year was incredibly successful. I was blown away by the size of the Georgia Crystal and the flavor profile and the garlic. Having fresh garlic, there is nothing better, you guys. When you go to the grocery store, you don't even realize how dry the garlic is until you grow your own garlic and you realize how juicy it is. It like, sometimes when you cut into it, it is so juicy that it like spurts out bits of juice. It is really incredible, amazing flavor, great scent. And being able to have garlic scapes is like an additional bonus when it comes to hardneck varieties. Whew, I feel good that we got that done. Well, that was a short and sweet little video. I know I didn't do too much, but sometimes gardening is all about just getting one task done and checking it off your list. That felt really good to get done, and it was important that we got it done now because it's getting very cold at night and it is starting to feel like true winter out here. Time to dump out my hoses, get everything cleaned up in the yard, and ready for winter. Before I let you guys go, I wanted to show you some of my fall porch decor because it is just so cute, and I thought I'd share. On our main front steps, we have this little light up cat who is a gift from my friend. I have some orange lights lit up in this little jack-o'-lantern pumpkin, a carver, which we're going to carve out, cook some pumpkin seeds out of. I'm excited about that. In our front entryway, we have these cute tiny little pumpkins. We have a beautiful kind of burgundy mum that has just so many buds that haven't even popped out yet. I've got these cute little stackers here, fun little varieties in different colors and shades and textures. Mr. Skeleton is our little Halloween decor. And it is just looking extra cute up here. What do you think, Nukes? Nukes, you're in the way of my Halloween decor. Anyway, not to brag, but I just thought my front porch was looking extra cute and I thought you guys would appreciate it. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you later.